Hey, what makes Wonder World Park the coolest place in Texas? Maybe it's the cool train ride through Texas' largest wildlife petting park. Or the cool view from Tejas Tower. Or the topsy-turvy anti-gravity house. Or all that cool stuff in Wonder World's huge gift shop.
Wow!
Actually, it's all that. And it's the only earthquake-formed cave open to the public. It's a cool 72 degrees year-round. So if you want cool, check out Wonder World Park in San Marcos, the coolest place in Texas.
Attention, Wonder World guests, the next tour today is now getting started inside of the gift shop at the two glass doors marked Wonder Cave entrance. This is for anyone holding on to all-in-one tickets or table-only tickets, but that's once again, the next tour today is now getting started inside of the gift shop at the two glass doors marked Wonder Cave entrance.
Well, Wonder World Park has been around for now 120 years, and it is an attraction local here in San Marcos. We offer our main attraction, which is our cave. It's an earthquake-formed cave that you can walk through and really explore and touch and feel and get a hands-on experience with your family and friends.
Just like the cave itself is so just unique and I would say especially the fact that it's such like a dry formed cave in that you can touch everything, and it's so like the odds of being able to walk underneath and in between a fault line is absolutely fascinating, and I just think it's so incredible that that happened and that we have it here right next to town.
We have a lot of different animals that come up to say hello. They'll feed from your hands. They really enjoy being pet. And we really like telling people about these animals and the kind of environments that they're usually in. You get to check out the view from our tower, which is 100 feet up in the air. So you go from 100 feet down to 100 feet up in the air. It gives you a chance to actually see the difference between what's to our west and what's to our east at San Marcos.
So initially, what we had here was the home of a freight hauler by the name of Mark A. Beavers. And Mr. Beavers lived with his wife, but they would almost every single day have to hike from here down to the San Marcos River so they could get fresh water and then haul it all the way back. And of course, at this point in time, this was about 1893, a lot of folks had started drilling for water on their properties, and so the Beavers decided to take their hand at that. And they managed to get a hole down a little over 100 feet. Before their drill bit had snapped off and disappeared. And so they knew it had landed somewhere, they knew it had gone somewhere, they just no longer had access to it. And so of course, at that point, they really think, it's not really worth our time, so they just kind of go back to doing what they were doing. And of course, Mrs. Beavers, one afternoon, she's outside, she's doing things, and realizes there's steam coming out of the rocks right behind me. And if you know, steam, water. So, of course, they start getting axes and they just start digging in their backyard, which I think is insane. But they get down maybe around 14 feet. They come across a very narrow slot in the rock, and so they call up one of the neighbors. They bring his boy over. He's probably around 12, 13 years old at the time, and he goes in. They only see his head, and he's like, I don't think it goes any further, and then he disappears. And what had happened was, as he was standing in that hole, a rock underneath him had shifted, and then he fell into the Wonder Cave. And so I always tell folks on tour, like, that is the first person ever to step foot into our cave is a 12, 13-year-old little boy. For a while, things were going pretty good. And then they ended up selling the property. They ended up selling it to W.S. Davis. He was a judge in town. And then from Mr. Davis, he would do candlelit tours. He would take small groups of people into the first room of the cave, which is what they had access to. He ended up selling it to a local businessman in town, Mr. A.B. Rogers. And Mr. Rogers was, like I say, he was a businessman. He was very interested in the geology of the cave, especially at that point in time. Not much was known about it, and so he was really just kind of playing it by ear. This is the first show cave in the state of Texas. He wants it to be something special. And that's when they discovered the rest of the cave, was through a little bit more exploration, a bit more digging, and they discovered where it had actually opened up significantly more further in. And that is when he started doing the tours that we know nowadays. He ended up opening Ocarina Springs, which he ended up leaving to his son. And his son would go on to leave it to his godson in the will, who would have been T.J. Mostyn, the current owner's grandfather.
An opportunity came about when my parents decided it was time for them to retire. They were needing to kind of move on from San Marcos, and the option to purchase the cave was on the table. And it has been a dream of mine to continue this business and this legacy that my grandfather has once put in place and my father has ran for 40 years. It really was a dream of mine. I never really thought it was obtainable. And once I put my mind to it and really vested out all the ways to go about putting my parents in a situation where they could retire, and there was an opportunity for me to come on board, we all made it work. It was such an amazing outcome, and now I've been in this role for now 6 years operating the cave, and it's meant the world to me because I believe the community loves having Wonder World part of San Marcos. It brings a great history. We've been bringing families and generations of different family members to the park for now 120 years, and I'm so happy that I'm carrying that on and I have the opportunity to do that and still live in a great town like San Marcos.
I think it's really important to take time to visit places like Wonder World throughout the country, throughout the state, because it gives you like a little glimpse into a life that doesn't really exist anymore. It's kind of like a time traveling experience. You get to go back and see a lot of things that people are nostalgic for. It gives people a sense of nostalgia, even if they're too young to be nostalgic for the very time period that they're experiencing. It's something I think that some places do, like local-owned businesses or family-owned businesses. They do it really well when they keep the aesthetic or keep the culture of something that happened, hundreds of years. For us, it's over 100 years ago. So I think it's really cool to take a step out of where you're at in your day-to-day life and just kind of, for a little while, go back in time and see a little nostalgic roadside attraction like this.
I would say that, being that we're 120 years, we are faced with challenges and just the wear and tear and things of that nature at the park. And we've overcome it because of our tour guides' enthusiasm and passion for giving those tours. I feel like we may not be the state-of-the-art facility, we're not your Disney World, but we give you that feeling plus more. I feel like you walk in the building and you're already just in a happier place. It's our mission that everyone leaves having a wonderful time because you're at Wonder World, and they've really been able to achieve that, and that has helped me overcome my challenge, which is that we don't nail it maybe in the facade, but we definitely get it in the feeling, and they don't even think about that once they leave the park.
I genuinely believe that there's a very special energy that kind of resides here in this cave, and people who come to work here, the ones that end up staying and being a part of the extended family of Wonder World, kind of pick up on that energy, and they can really kind of move around with it. It's very flowing. This place is a labor of love from everybody that comes out and works every day. Keeping this place up and running, it really comes down to the system of everybody from the top all the way down to the tour guides.
Of course, I worked here growing up and was born into this business, but I had been away for about 15 years. So coming back and having to just learn a little bit, but it's like riding a bike. You get right back on it, your spine. But yeah, I wanted to respect all those that were in those leadership roles here, and it went very smoothly, I would say, going into that second week being owner here.
We all just trust each other, and we all rely on each other, and we know that we're all here for the same good and doing the same thing. And I think that is something really special with how the employees all work here. And it's led to a bunch of different growth. I mean, I've met some of my greatest friends just in the last almost year that I've been here. I'm very grateful for everything that I've been able to achieve here and all the people that I've gotten to meet and affect my life through Wonder World in and of itself.
It's a very unique working experience and just being here in general, because you get to meet so many different people from all walks of life, and you just get to know a lot of different people, even if it is for such a short amount of time. Like, the tours are very personable. Even on busy days, like, there's always something that'll stick out to you, and you carry it with you, I think, whenever you go home, and just like it changes how you live your life, just kind of out and about.
Yeah, I really, sometimes I think I take it for granted just how much I feel ingrained in San Marcos, and the different things I've found out about and taken part in really come from the relationships I've made here at Wonder World. Wonder World, I think, attracts a really unique type of person that wants to try to share things like this with guests, with people coming in and visiting. And those are the same kind of people that really go out of their way to reach out and make you feel really welcome. They make you feel like part of the community, which is something that didn't really start for me until I started working in this spot. So I'd already been in San Marcos for a few years, but working here and working with the people that work at Wonder World really brought me into San Marcos and its culture.
One of my favorite things about being a tour guide and being particularly at a place like this is that we get such a wide span draw from people all around the country and the world, that they hear that there's a cave here and they want to come in. And it definitely exposes us to different situations and different types of people and different kind of ways of life that we don't get to experience in our day-to-day, which I think is really cool. And I love having conversations with people. I love talking to people. So if I can talk to somebody who has had a different experience than me, I'm going to try and go out of my way to do that. And this is a great place to do so, because we just have such a wide span of attraction to allow people to come and check us out. And it's a pretty rare thing, and I think a lot of people take it for granted when they're in instances like that. But I know most of us, if not all of us here, really are. We all love that. We love talking to other people and learning where people come from and things like that. And this is a great place for that type of thing to happen.
So when you're, immersed in something like a business, you're growing up. I was just talking to my siblings about how when we were younger, we were here at night pricing things, and we were all lined up with the gift store's merchandise, and it was just natural and just part of our daily, or not daily, but kind of our routine as a family, and that's how we kind of bonded. We came together and priced, and Cave was kind of a home, and it still is a home. Like, it's part of my life, I have, axis deer and fallow deer and Rio Grande turkeys running around my backyard, and I'm so used to these things because I've grown up with it. And it's kind of fun to have friends come over, and they're just blown away at what they're going to experience right here in our hometown of San Marcos. And I don't want to take that for granted, because it's really a cool thing to have right at your fingertips.
It's definitely a benefit of this job that I didn't think about when I started working here. It wasn't really entered in my mind. But once I had kids, I realized that this is one of the best places you can work. One of the best places that you can tell your daughter, "Hey, I have to go to work. You want to come with me?" She's really excited to do that. She feels like it's like a second home almost. She's so comfortable with the animals. She's so comfortable with hanging out in the gift shop and talking with the staff. She's so comfortable with the cave. So for me, I think that it's a part of San Marcos that I had to adapt and learn about, and it brought me in. For my daughter, it's just going to be part of her experience growing up in San Marcos, and I think that's really cool, really irreplaceable.
What I want people to know about Wonder World is that we have been established for a really long time, and it's when you walk in, you're experiencing something that maybe your grandmother went to, or maybe your mother experienced with when she was a child, and now you're getting to experience. So generation after generation has come, and it's been the same steady, fun, educational experience for all, and we just continue to put smiles on families' faces year after year.